Do you want to get irrigation for your lawn without spending thousands of dollars? Well, stick around, I'm going to show you how. Alright, I think I need to take this inside because apparently there's a little more setup than I thought there would be. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Lawn Shark channel. So recently I was contacted by a company called RainPoint, and they are a company that provides irrigation solutions for the average homeowner, and they have quite a few products that you can use to your regular spigot at your home and use it for irrigation or for you to be able to track water usage in your home as you are using your hose around the house. So one of the things that I told them right off the bat was that I already have an in-ground irrigation system, and I didn't think that this product would be very good for me. But I do have my brother-in-law who lives next door who does not have irrigation, and I thought that this could possibly be a really good solution for his needs in his lawn. He's continuously having to deal with issues with trying to make sure that he gets the hose in the right location, getting irrigation in the right parts of his lawn. And so I thought immediately this would be the perfect solution for him and potentially for some of you out there that don't want to spend thousands of dollars in putting an in-ground irrigation system. Now, I love my personal system and I highly recommend getting one if you can. But again, it costs several $1,000s even for a small yard like mine. And I have to be honest with you, I was a little bit skeptical as to whether this would be a really good solution for anybody. But I have to say, the minute that I started using the product and I started doing all the configurations and everything else, I was really impressed. There are a couple of different components that are really, really useful. Number one, they have this system right here, which is actually their home hub system. The nice thing about this is that while it is not a touch screen, it does give you pretty much everything that's going on with any of the products that you have paired to this system. Now, the main ones that I use right now, and as you can see, I've got a scheduled 418 because I was testing it this afternoon. But what I did was I basically turned on my hose outside in the back, and I put their flow meter on there, and I basically used my hose to just simulate a sprinkler and how I would create a schedule for that sprinkler system. And it worked perfectly. The nice thing about this thing is that it has those two buttons on there. You can actually push a button and it'll turn on the water, but then you can also set it up so that you can do it through your phone, and through the app you can turn it on and off, and then you can also set a schedule for each one of those. The nice thing about that flow meter is that you can hook up two different hoses, set up two different plans for each one of those hoses, and so for a yard like mine where you want to put a sprinkler on each corner and be able to cover the entire lawn, it was perfect. They also have a really nice flow meter that you can use for your hose, so that if you're interested in how much water is actually running through your hose for any given time, if you like to walk around and hand water your flowers, you can actually do that with this flow meter, and you can get a pretty good idea of how much water you're putting down. Now, the setup is really easy. The app is really great. I went through the whole process of setting up the app, and it's basically a straight download from the Apple Store. Once you get it downloaded, you can go in there and just add the hub, which is the main component. And once you get the hub installed, then you can add in all the subcomponents. So for me, I had the flow meter that had the two hose ends that you can run your sprinklers through, and it also had that smart Wi-Fi flow meter that you can hook up to your hose. Now the cool thing about that one is it does have a digital display, and you can actually see what's going on in real time just by looking at it without having to pull out your phone. But once you're done using it, you can look at your phone, you can look at the hub, and you can actually see all of the water that you are using. It's a really smart system. I really liked using it. I think it's going to be one of those products that if you're the average homeowner that does not have irrigation and you need to get good water down on your lawn and you want to have a plan, this thing works really, really well. The other nice thing about this hub is it pretty much gives you all of the information in your surroundings. It not only gives you the temperature of your ambient temperature, but it also looks at the forecast for your local area. So for me, since I live in Franklin, Tennessee, it actually tells me what's going on in there. And it also has a rain skip feature. One of the other nice things I like about this thing is that smart Wi-Fi flow meter for your hose is removable, so you don't have to leave it on there. It's really interesting. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it is a cartridge that can just come off. I didn't see any moving parts. It must be able to tell like how the water's flowing through the hose. Smarter than I am, but it works really, really well. And then the other thing that was really nice about it was that it came with 2 quick connects so that I can actually remove the whole thing if I want to in a really easy fashion and move it to another hose if I wanted to. Now, I'm sure you're gonna have to go out there and buy some new quick connects to be able to move that to different hoses, but I did really like that feature. And if I don't want to use the flow meter for whatever reason, I can just remove the whole thing. Like I said, I'm going to be giving this thing to my brother-in-law. The company was really gracious and they said, yeah, go for it. Let him have it. We're going to be setting it up in his lawn. And hopefully this will be a really good tool for him to use so that he can set up a really good watering plan for his lawn. Now that's going to take care of his front lawn. If this thing works as advertised over the long term, I'm sure that he's going to want to put one in the back and then he can run everything from the back. Now, the other thing I want to make sure that you guys understand is that because the flow meter with the 2 hose connects, those actually have their own water flow sensor as well, so that I can actually tell from not only from the smart hub, but I can tell from the app as well how much water is actually flowing from each one of those. So there's no need for me to use the flow meter, that smart Wi-Fi flow meter, on that as well, because everything has its own way of tracking how much water. I think this is a really big game changer. I know that my irrigation system, there are some things that I can add to it so that I can monitor how much water is going through it, but to be honest with you, it doesn't have that. As smart as my irrigation system is, for my in-ground system is, it doesn't track how much water I'm actually using. Those are types of things that actually got me thinking about things that I probably want to start adding to my irrigation so that I can actually see it in real time, and so that I can make sure that I understand how much water I'm using for irrigation versus how much water I'm using for the rest of my house. It does require a 2.4 gigahertz connection, so I do have a mesh system for my Wi-Fi. For those of you that know what a mesh system is, it only does the 5 gigahertz, so I have to make sure that I use it on my regular router. It does not go up to 5 gigahertz, so you're going to have to do the 2.4. But as long as you have that, this should work perfectly fine. Again, it's a super easy download from the App Store, and then it's just a matter of configuring everything, and everything should work just fine. There was one small glitch that I had, and that was that you want to make sure that everything stays within your area of Wi-Fi. There was a couple times where I had it hooked up to my Wi-Fi and I moved over to my brother-in-law, and I ended up losing that configuration and I had to start over. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're setting this thing up. But if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to comment down below. I'm happy to answer questions. They do have their own YouTube channel. I'll put that in the description so that you can go out there and see all of their information around this. And honestly, I'm pretty impressed with everything. I think it's a really good system. It's a really good alternative to spending thousands of dollars, like I said, and getting an in-ground irrigation system. And if it's something that you've been looking for so that you don't have to keep moving things around and keep you remembering, you know, how much water have I put down, how long have I had the hose down. I remember I had a yard one time where I basically had one sprinkler system and I moved that thing around for 2 hours every other night, and it was a pain. And I just don't recommend that. I mean, if you can find a way to do things super simple, do it from your app, do it from inside your house, and not have to worry about it, or do it like when it should be watered. Because remember, when you're irrigating your lawn, and I probably should do a video about proper irrigation for your lawn, you don't want to sit there and water every day. You want to give your lawn time to actually absorb water, and you want to make those roots grow, and you can't do that by continuously watering your lawn. The more you water, the less growth you're going to get from those roots, because they're basically lazy. They don't have to grow deep in order to get water because you're constantly giving it water. So I personally try to stay at most every third day for my lawn. Every other day would be max, and that would be if it was like super hot. Like if we're hitting 100-degree temperatures, then I may up that watering. But for the most part, I'm going to stay about every third day. And this system would actually let you do that without having to continuously monitor and walk around and do this whole manual process. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. My email address is also in the description. Feel free to email me. That takes a little bit longer for me to respond. I tend to respond to comments fairly quickly. Email, got tons of email coming in from work and from everything else, so I tend to take a little bit longer to answer those. But if you want a faster answer, please comment down below. I'll also put some information in the description about the RainPoint system and where you can get it, where you can purchase it, along with costs. I think Amazon carries it, so you can get it from there as well. So if you're looking for an irrigation system, I highly recommend this one. There's lots of them out there, but I really like the way that this one works. It's a really nice system, and honestly, for what you're getting, the cost is actually really, really reasonable. So I know I've been doing a lot of review videos lately. I hope you guys like these types of videos. Let me know what you think of them. If you don't like review videos, then I guess you can just skip through them. I do have a few companies that have been reaching out to me for me to test their products. And if I feel like it fits my audience, I'm going to test them. If I didn't mention previously, they did give me this system. They did not pay me for this video. We did agree that I could say whatever I wanted about the product. If I didn't like it, I was going to tell you. And to be honest with you, I loved it. So hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if I've earned your subscription. And if you want to be notified of future videos, don't forget to hit that bell. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great week, everybody.